the contest is well worth watching. Let's not be too conventional. Then again, shoes are very harmful to a polished floor.
The 10th annual MARC Gala and Fundraiser is brought to you by our great sponsors: Piedmont Folk Legacies, Wilkerson Funeral Home, Dodson Investment Properties LLC, Let's Row, Elizabeth's Pizza, Lucky City Brewery, Big Apple Farm Supply, and the North Carolina Arboretum Society, as well as our other great sponsors: the William Bethel chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, Visit Roco, Shea Lindsay, City Funeral Home, Greensboro Grasshoppers, Home Trust Bank, Carolina Theater Greensboro, and the Theater Guild of
Hello and welcome to this annual gala and fundraiser, a swinging soiree here at the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. Joe Dexter here with you. Pardon our technical difficulties as we're dealing with a Spectrum outage with internet connected to a hotspot, trying to make this happen because this is a very important event in our community and it goes for a great cause. As we're joined with CJ Idle, the Executive Director of the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. How you doing?
Pretty good. It's been an interesting evening so far, but we will persevere. I feel like it's some of the fun of being in a building that's over 100 years old is you never quite know what it's going to throw at you. So you just kind of learn how to adapt, overcome, and move on.
Well, tell us about how things are going with the construction, some of the events going on with the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. It's never a quiet day, is it?
No, no. So for the past couple months, thanks to grant funding through the National Endowment for Humanities and the Rockingham County government and the county commissioners, we were able to move forward with repairing and placing the HVAC system here, which is a fun project because you've got a 1970s building that was relatively easy to work with. Then you've got a building that started construction in 1907, had 1930s additions, 1970s renovations, 1980s renovations, and that's just thrown us some curveballs. The 1970s building is completely operational as of right now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that stays the same. And we're probably about a month or so away from finishing with the older part of the building just because they've run into some interesting things that didn't show up in the floor plans and created some, we've had to get creative with running the HVAC over there.
Well, like you said, this is a 100-year-old building plus in some parts. That's going to create some challenges, right? But that also creates a great you get to an opportunity to start from the ground floor with the HVAC, for example, where now you can start moving forward after this is put together. You got to put those bricks down and you got to have those systems in place in order to move forward.
Yeah, and it's been a fun project to see unfold because it's given us access to parts of the building that usually aren't accessible because of the old HVAC system. We've been able to see parts of the building that are unfortunately going to be covered up by the new HVAC system, but we might be able to do some behind the scenes photos and videos down the road to show people parts of the building that haven't been seen in 40, 50 years.
Man alive. Now that's unlocking history, right?
Yeah, and then as well as everything we're doing over here at the courthouse, across the street at Wright Tavern, we just finished a major landscape project over there because unfortunately we discovered water was running to the building, which is not where you want water to go. You want it to go away from the building. And with that building being it's 200 plus years old, we needed to reroute that water. And that was another fun project because once you start putting holes in the ground over there, you're going to find artifacts. So we were able to find, with some help from some of our volunteers, they were out monitoring the landscaping crew, would come in after hours and then go dig through their backfill piles and found just a treasure trove of archaeological finds from the late 19th, early 20th century. And they've been able to put together a small exhibit based off those. And while the main museum is closed right now, while we finish up renovations, Wright Tavern is available to tour by appointment, and you can come check out that new exhibit.
Well, explain to us some of your short-term goals for opening, and then also some of the long-term things that, now that you've had the support and now you see the support and getting the community back involved with history, some of your long-term goals for the MARC as you see coming forward.
Yeah, so long term, we want to get this building fully operational. We've got some more exterior. We want to make sure there's no water coming into the building. We're in the process of getting that accomplished, figuring out where our problems are and how we can solve them. We want to give the interior a bit of a facelift because we understand we haven't been open for a while, fully operational. So we want to give you the best experience that Rockingham County truly deserves for sharing its history. We've also got we've got our trail system out at High Rock Ford Trail on the Hall River that we're working on updating and upgrading and expanding that trail system. And down the road, there may be a High Rock State Trail or a Hall River State Trail, similar to what Darba's done. Shout out to Darba, Dan River Weekend. Hope everybody spend some time on the Dan, celebrate that state's trail system, but kind of copying that and developing it for the Hall River. And so there's a group out of Alamance County that we've been taught in discussions with trying to make a statewide trail system using the Hall River. And then Troublesome Creek Ironworks, we're hoping to get that operational again, get people out there. And all of that we're hoping to have in preparation for North America 250 in North Carolina, 2026, celebration of the, 250th anniversary. Bad math there for a second, of the signing of the Declaration of Independence will be in 2026. So we're looking to do that year. We're just going to hammer American Revolution because we've got those Troublesome Creek, High Rock Ford, both Revolutionary War sites. Alexander Martin just down the road from the MARC, Revolutionary War governor, soldier, and then all the other soldiers that came out of the county and fought for independence are important. And this year, even though we're not fully open, speaking of important independence and war, this year we have a theme of 1940s. We've been, by the end of the year, we should have a new exhibit up on display in the museum for when we do get reopened, highlighting Rockingham County's involvement in World War II. And while we've been doing that research, we're like, let's just see what the whole decade was like, see what's happening on the home front. Our Griggs program earlier in the year looked at the role, I think ended up being 12 of the 14 plaintiffs were World War II veterans. So we looked at the role them being veterans in World War II played into their civil rights activism. Christmas at Wright Tavern this year is going to have a 1940s theme. So we were just like, let's just go all out, do 1940s for the year and just see what we can learn and explore and see how people engage with that decade.
Overall, the 1940s changed America. How have you seen it so far changed Rockingham County?
Griggs obviously is one of the most important things that has come out of the county. It's a little bit later, but those experiences that they had during the war, fighting for America, and then coming home to a segregated society, that definitely plays into them wanting to be a more integrated America, fighting for their rights, using what they learned from the Army discipline to carry out that struggle. And then you also see how the community united in the 1940s, raising funds for the war effort, cutting back on certain things. a little bit later in the program, I'll bring some artifacts out and we can show kind of some of the ways the county interacted with the war effort. Even though not everybody went off to fight, there was definitely a concerted home front effort to help fuel the U.S. Army as they pursued their activities during the war.
Well, before we get to happy bidding, I want to ask you about the support. $20,000 goal, $9,150 raised outside of the auction so far. What's that mean to you? What's that mean to the MARC?
I mean, I think it shows that we still, even though we haven't been open for a while, the community still sees us as a valuable asset to Rockingham County. We're doing work. I think people recognize that we're doing the best we can in a tough situation, not having heating and air for over 2-3 years now. But we still have a long ways to go. I don't by any means claim that we're doing the best we could. We're just doing what we can with the bad situation. And hopefully that we've demonstrated through these years that we are the value. We can be the crown and the center of Rockingham County, because we are here in the middle, the geographic center of the county. And hopefully we can continue to do everybody justice, represent for the people who lived in Rockingham County, try to tell their story to the best of our abilities so that the future can be created and we can continue to engage with the past. And this can be a place where everybody can come and learn and experience and really appreciate what Rockingham County has offered to the state, region, national, international level, and what we can continue to offer.
Joe Dexter with C.J. Idle, Executive Director here at the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. Got to ask you before I let you go, because I haven't done it. I need to know if you have. It's a swinging soiree. Have you ever swung dance?
No, I have not.
You've not?
No.
Can we get a demonstration later? No. Me neither.
No,
I'm not giving it either. Sorry.
I'm not wearing the right shoes to do that.
We'll do a lot of things here, but we're not going to swing tonight. But we need you to swing your votes over to these great items, swing your donations, and also help us with the bidding here. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now as we get with the 10th Annual Gala. Thanks to C.J. Idle for joining us here at the start of things, and thanks to you for being here as well for this beautiful 10th Annual Gala swinging soiree. Let's take a look at how you can log in and get ready for these bids. We already got great bids in. Everybody's getting ready. Everybody's already done their part, but we need to continue to grow some of these items and some of the support through them because they're great and they deserve it. Well, let's start with how you log in. So first, you're going to head to marc2024.ggo.bid. As you see on the bottom of your screen there, all you have to do is type in marc.ggo.bid. It's going to take you to the page that you also see up here on tonight's gala. And it will take you to this triangle hamburger thing that you see right here. I call it a hamburger. It's 3 lines, okay? Click on that, and it will take you to log in. And right there, you can log in easily with your information and also get your credit card put in so that you can donate and also bid. Once you do that, it will make it automatic that you can bid when you click on an item. So we'll look at tonight's first item from Screen Print Plus. As you can see, there has been a bid on it from David French at $250. If you wanted to increase that bid, all you got to do is see that blue button right there. Click bid $330. And why wouldn't you? You see the Lake Life hats for Lake Reedsville done by Screen Print Plus. Need to advertise your small business or want to match a look for your friends and family? That is a package right here that is for you. Screen Printing Plus in Reedsville will embroider a dozen hats with whatever logo you like, and the MARC will place the winning bidder in contact with Screen Printing Plus. So all you have to do is get logged in and bid. That top bid is at $330. And we'll continue to look at items throughout this evening up till 8 o'clock. We'll give you those final warnings. We'll take a look at some of the art as well that will be available throughout this gala as we close things out. And we also have some great sporting events, some great vacations, great experiences for you here on tonight's auction. So glad to have you along, all those strong. Also, I want to mention that if you comment, well, this is an interactive broadcast. We'd love to hear from you. Feel free to comment on our social media pages, and we will make you part of our broadcast here tonight. So, like those that are going to try and bid against the things that I want, don't comment, though, because I'm trying to get them, all right? Leave it be. We got some great art, and we're going to look closer at that here coming up in just a bit. But I want to touch first on some of the major items, that we have here today that are up for auction. We'll start with this beautiful, we had one last year, the Heritage of Rockingham County, a must-have for anyone interested in Rockingham County history. Current bid is at $150. You can make that bid at $200 for this work of art. It literally is. Even though it might not be beautiful on the outside, inside it carries a lot of natural and cultural history of this county. Articles written by Rockingham County's leading historians, along with biographies and family histories written by descendants as well, and published by the Rockingham County Historical Society in 1983. It remains the most comprehensive publication on Rockingham County, and currently the top bid is $150. By heading to mark2024.ggo.bid, that could be yours. Well, you've got an hour to get that bid in at $200 to make it yours, unless you're Marguerite. Now, people are going to come after Marguerite because this is a highly contested item. With some of those experiences I was talking about that are going to be awesome for whoever wins this bid, the one that stands out to me is vacation, recreation, travel, a Cayman Island stay. The top bid is at $1,000 currently. You can bid $1,125. Mila Barnhart with the top bid right now. Let's get in on this action. Cayman Islands vacation. For you and your friends, you can escape it all and jet off to the luxurious Moritz Resort in the Cayman Islands for a week of paradise. If you don't like a week of paradise, then I don't know what to tell you. Bid right now. $1,125 will make you the top bidder currently at mark2024.ggo.bid. That's just one of the great travel experiences and stays that we have here at the 10th Gala fundraiser. Right now at $1,400, the top bid for a 7-night Oak Island beach house vacation. Look at these pictures. Pictures tell the story. Nothing else. Pictures tell the story. And when you look at the pictures on the website, you can see what a great time could be had at Oak Island Beach Villa, also known as the perfect place for your family vacation. A lovely first-level condominium with a bright and tropical atmosphere. Easily access the beach or splash around in the community pool during your stay. This 3-bedroom offers a large oceanfront balcony complete with furniture and gorgeous ocean views as well. That current bid, top bid, is at $1,400. Make sure you get onto that as well. Want to thank our sponsors as well before we get too far here in this 10th Annual Summer Gala and Fundraiser. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. Thanks to all of our great sponsors that made this auction possible with great items, such as this antique mid-19th century Empire walnut and white marble drop front center dresser and mirrors. Starting bid is at $250. This was donated by the William Bethel chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. A beautiful antique piece commissioned for the Virginia-based Ames family in the mid-19th century, possibly as early as the 1840s. The 1840s on this piece. And with a small starting bid of just $250, you can get in on the bidding for this item with 58 minutes remaining here in our auction at the Swinging Soiree in year number 10 of the annual Summer Gala and Fundraiser with the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. Make that bid. Now, if I click bid right now, I don't know if I can fit this in my Nissan Sentra, so I might be able to. But we can, accommodations can be made for everybody. So make sure you remember that when you're making your bids at mark2024.ggo.bid. Now, I want to talk about some of these other experiences, such as the Carolina Theater. You can go on down to the Carolina Theater Greensboro with movie passes. Whether you're a movie buff looking for date nights or several family outings, have a fun night out at the movies with 10 Carolina Theater Greensboro movie passes, one of 2 bundles of 10 tickets available. No expiration date. The passes are valid for classic movies year-round, the holiday movies in December, Summer Film Fest in July and August, and Carolina Kids Club in July and August as well. And you can visit carolinatheater.com for the current movie schedule. That current top bid is at no, it's not. It's at $40 now. Sorry, Ann. You're going to have to top it. Joe Dexter is now the top bidder on that. at $40. You can get in on the bids as well. MARC2024.ggo.bid. If you're just joining us, right there on the bottom of the screen on the scrolling ticker to bid on the fantastic items, it's that URL right there. MARC2024.ggo.bid. A lot of great items, such as the movie passes we just talked about. This is one I've been looking at as well. College football, Clemson, Wake Forest, Dave Clawson, and the game, the Demon Deacons, Dabo Swinney in town in Winston-Salem. That's in October. Wake Forest versus Clemson is shaping up to be an exciting contest. You won't want to miss out. This package provides 2 game tickets on the west side of Truist Field in Winston-Salem, plus a parking pass. The hardest thing is to figure out parking. If you don't have it figured out before you go down to the game, we've got you covered here with 2 tickets for Wake Forest and Clemson, plus your parking pass. Current bid, top bid, is at $215 for Lauren Hughes. That's at $215. You can bid $235 for 2 tickets in today's day and age. That's a great deal. Okay, sorry. I'm going to confirm a $235 on that too. I need you all to outbid me. See if you can outbid me. I got $235 on 2 tickets to Wake Forest and Clemson. I want to go see Dabo in person. Come on, you do too. Top bid $235 currently at mark2024.ggo.bid. Well, if any of you know me, you know the kid Jay Ramey. We work close together on broadcast. One of the color commentators for the Greensboro Grasshoppers this year on Thursdays. 2025 is going to be the year of the Grasshopper, because you can get great tickets and all the Grasshoppers action you need with this bid on 2025 tickets, currently at $55. Top bid is the bid. The top bid is at $50. With this bid, you could have all the ball catching the Greensboro Grasshoppers in action that you desire. You can receive a certificate for 4 tickets, valid to any Grasshoppers home game at First National Bank Field in the 2025 season. So make sure you get your bids in. Look at the bidding history on this one, too. Strong at $55 for 4 tickets for a night of baseball? Come on. I already bid on 2 items. I'm very tempted. Very tempted. We'll come back to that one. That might be one that I sneak a bid in on. By the way, up till 8 o'clock is when the auction closes, so you're going to want to get in at mark2024.ggo.bid. You know, some of these you're going to want to put on, click and make sure you bookmark so that you can go back to it right at 7:55, because there's going to be some chasing on some of these prints, especially. Let's look at some of this artwork a little bit closely. Now, this is the prized possession, the Mel Steel original bowl of fruit. Now, it's not an original bowl of fruit in the sense that we're going to hand you a grapefruit. We're not going to give you grapes. But we have this original Mel Steel photo. It's an original photorealistic painting of a bowl of fruit created by the legendary Mel Steel. Steele's body of work ranges over an amazing breadth of both subject and medium, from photorealism to abstract expressionism and landscapes to portraits. Mel Steel exhibits stunning mastery, as we all know. As you take a look down there, the current bid at $700, a value of $2,500. So you're going to want to start jumping and bidding on that as we take a closer look at the package that is offered at mark2024.ggo.bid. Top bid is at $700. And it's stunning. We have it here inside the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. You've got 53 minutes to make a bid. The next bid at $800 for that Mel Steel original bowl of fruit. Some other artwork that we have here today. You can't talk about winning without University of North Carolina, not NC State, right, CJ? Hey, CJ said, hey, we like NC State here too, okay? But this is a great Dean Smith, the winning tradition print. There's no better way to show your true Carolina Tar Heel spirit than by adding a winning tradition to your collection with the current bid at $20 only. This print features one of my favorite things, Michigan losing. Dean Smith, along with Bill Cuthridge, Michael Jordan hitting the winning basket in the 82 championship, along with George Lynch hitting the go-ahead basket in the 93 championship game against Michigan. The print is 11 by 15 on acid-free paper and matted to a finished size of 16 by 20. That's 16 by 20 as we take a closer look at the auction on this item. It's currently at $45. Next bid is $50 with a long list of history in bidding on this item, commemorating Reynolds Coliseum and men's and women's Wolfpack basketball teams as well. We've got the Wolfpack House of Champions print at $45. And we also have the Richard Hedgecock artist proof of Morning Flight, of an eagle flying over a river in a winter landscape. This painting is signed by artist Richard Hedgecock. The proof is matted and in a 30 by 37 wood frame. Hedgecock is a local artist from Kernersville, North Carolina. The current bid is at $65 on that piece. The value is at $250. So add this, as a person that loves eagles, it's very hard for me not to bid on this right now as we take a closer look at the auction details. With $65 at the starting bid on this one, the artist proof of an eagle flying over a river in that winter landscape. You can pick this up from the MARC, or it can be mailed at an additional cost as well at mark2024.ggo.bid. Now, this next one is a very cool print. It's a limited edition Gathering of Eagles print. So this was originally produced by Medal of Honor recipient, ace pilot, and aviation pioneer Jay Ashurst for the Air Command and Staff College at Maxwell Air Force Base and its Gathering of Eagles program. So the outer two panels show 20 pilots with their names and the name of the aircraft that they piloted. So very cool. The center panel also is collages of the various aircrafts that were piloted as well. This is a limited edition print at 32 by 40. It's signed by the artist as well, and each of the pilots depicted in the artwork. How cool is that as we take a closer look at the auction details on this one? The top bid is at $200. Currently, you can bid $280 to take it home following this fundraiser. With 50 minutes remaining, all you have to do is head to mark2024.ggo.bid. That's mark2024.ggo.bid. We've got several other artwork pieces that we'll take a little bit closer look at here. We've got the Divot piece, an artist proof of a border collie named Divot. Divot belonged to the artist Richard Hedgecock, who we showed you earlier, and lived on his farm near Kernersville. The top bid is at $20. I know Ann really wants that piece too. And will bid with that one. So if you want to get into war with her, you can. You might pay a little bit more for it, but go ahead and bid $30 right now at mark2024.ggo.bid. We've got Hazel Eyes as well. Children are near and dear to my heart. This painting is from photographs taken by a dear friend of mine who has documented several mission trips. These children I have painted are all orphans who need to be loved. Even though their expressions are sad, there's such a river of hope in their eyes, and I hope these paintings express that. That is original watercolor painting by Corby Eisbacher. And that image is printed on 13 by 19 archival grade paper, matted. It includes a 16 by 20 frame, and it's also signed by Corby. So check that out. You can bid for that. That bid is at $15. And you can grab that by heading to mark2024.ggo.bid. So that's a full look at we've got a couple more pieces, 3 more pieces to look at. We've got the Prayer Warriors piece commemorating the sacrifices of those who serve in the U.S. Armed Forces, and reproduced on archival paper and original watercolor painting as well by Corby Eisbacher. So a great piece. The image is about 11 by 15, and it's matted in a 16 by 20 frame, and also signed by the artist. Actually, I'm going to bid on that one. Sorry, folks, I got to take a break. I'm bidding. Okay? All right, give me just a second. A lot of great pieces of art here. We've also got Unconditional Love, depiction on the unconditional love between Jesus and his mother Mary. Again, this one is a painting by Corby Eisbacher and signed by the artist. Current bid is at $20 from Debbie Brown. You can bid at $25 now at mark2024.ggo.bid. And one more we'll take a look at with you. and that's the Thicket's Edge. Another Mel Steel. This is a print of two deer on the edge of a wooded area in the winter. The print is triple matted with a 31 by 38 wood frame. So your top bid is at $45. Craig, with that bid, you can bid $65 and take it home today with 47 minutes remaining. Now, you'll have some battles potentially, but you can bid to be the top bidder right now at mark2024.ggo.bid. Let's get that back up on the screen so those that need to know you can support the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County tonight, not just by bidding, but you can also donate. If you head to mark2024.ggo.bid and you just want to continue to support the services and all the initiatives of the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County, all you have to do is click on that donate button. The cool thing is you can donate 10, 20, 50, 100, 250, 500. There's options for you. But if you have a custom number in mind, you can also click custom and enter that donation amount as well by heading to mark2024.ggo.bid. Some other items. Let's take a look at this retail item that we have for you. Salem and Charlie. Have you been there? You got to head in. It's a great, great place. And a $25 gift certificate to Salem and Charlie's in Madison. You need to get new items for your wardrobe or a gift for the lady in your life, you got to head on down. It's a $25 gift certificate. It's already up to $30. Julie really wanted that thing. If you want it, I mean, the $10 inflation on the $25 gift certificate for a place like Salem and Charlie, it's well worth it. So make sure you get that bid in, the $35 bid, with 45 minutes remaining here in our 10th annual Summer Gala and Fundraiser Swinging Soiree. Glad to have you along here on the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County YouTube and Facebook page. And in the bidding is where we all are at mark2024.ggo.bid. Let's take a closer look at some of those other experiences. Let's Roam has been a strong supporter of our galas throughout the last few years. Let's Roam, the scavenger hunt experience for up to 10 people, a bundle for one, the top bid at $35. Currently, you can bid up to $45 if you want to look for an activity to do with your family and friends. That is fun, man. A digital scavenger hunt ticket for up to 10 people at most city locations across the U.S. and beyond. Simply download the app, pick the city, location that you'll be at, and type the experience you're looking for, and food and drink, history, city highlights to the paranormal, and more. It's set off your own adventure with the Let's Roam experience for up to 10 people at mark2024.ggo.bid. We mentioned the Carolina Theater. How about the Arboretum, a 2-day parking pass as well, offering some of the most botanically diverse plants in the region. The North Carolina Arboretum is located in the southern Appalachian Mountains and offers acres of groomed trails and cultivated gardens. Plan a trip or two with these all-day parking passes. Each is valid for one full daytime. Visit. The current bid is at $10. You can bid $15 to be the top bidder currently with 44 minutes to go at mark2024.ggo.bid. As we welcome back in CJ Idle, the Executive Director of the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. Welcome back. And man, do you have an item for us to see today?
Yeah, and I just want to start off by saying appreciate my Wolfpack faithful out there running up the score on the Tar Heels. So want to make sure Wolfpack representing Rockingham County. So this kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the opening segment, where we're doing research on World War II veterans to build that exhibit, and this is out of our archives. It's the it's an honor roll of Rockingham County, and if I can open it up safely, it's not in the best shape. You will see images and rankings and a little bit of biography about some of the servicemen and women coming out of Rockingham County. And I'm hoping I can find it. And then fortunately, at the back of the book, we also have some representation of the African-American men who were in service during World War II. This book is not a complete honor roll. We do have to work around looking through the old newspapers from the time period. There were a few other honor rolls that were produced running through the mills and the local communities. This one mainly covers soldiers coming out of Reedsville. But it's a good source for us because we're able to come here, find names, find biographic information, a little bit about where they were serving, and then we can go and do a deeper dive into where they're at, if they were in the Pacific, if they were in Europe, when they served, the years they served, what their rank was, and it's just a great primer for us to then use to make that deeper dive into the war experience of people coming out of Rockingham County.
There's the archival part of that, right, and keeping that, but there's a meaning and a feeling about that goes beyond the paper there. I mean, there's so much, not just the story of what's told on with the print and the ink, but inside of that document, just of showing not just how the 40s changed America, but how the people of the 40s. And I think it's a really important document. I've seen this before, and it's not something that you'll see every day, though. I really think that keeping items like that are very important, not necessarily because it's important to see them, but they tell a story.
Yeah, and I mean, my background is coming as an archaeologist, doing research into material culture and, for most part, the ceramics that are left behind. And it's really what fascinates me and what always gets me excited about working here is what story does this object want to tell me? This object has had its own life cycle, its own history going back to 1944 when it was first produced. This thing has seen and had its own experience. And how can it tell me that story? How can I talk to this object and get it to tell me the story it wants to tell, which is the story of the men and women contained inside of it? And having a communication and being able to develop a dialogue and understand the history of this artifact, why it needs to be taped up, why it's got these cracks, and it's in not the great shape, and that's part of the story, and it's an important part of the story. And now it's found a home here at the museum, so we can take care of it and make sure it's preserved so that it can share its story with anybody else who comes and visits the MARC, and we can help do that through the exhibit we're working on.
Well, there's this object side of things, right, and that tells us the story of the people as well. One of the most touching stories that I ever did as a newspaper reporter at the Rockingham Now newspapers was talking with Oscar O. Tucker Jr., who passed away, but he was 90 plus when I interviewed him, a veteran of World War II from Rockingham County, from Reedsville. When you do those stories and you hear from people and you are able to document the history of those folks, it actually gives you a sense of being there, unlike a document, right, where we get a feeling of what happened. But so these documents can lead us to those documentations. They help you guys in finding what needs to be told. They are essentially a building block to continuously building and getting those documentations of people's stories.
Yeah, and it's these primary sources, especially something like this where it is just a photo with a name, it's the first block in building a much larger structure that becomes the narrative. And it, hearing people, trying to remember who said this. It's hard not to be romantic about baseball.
Right.
It's hard not to be romantic about history. And when you get to talk with people who either lived it or they have a passion for it and they want to tell you the stories, like you were just saying, like, this is why I love doing this with you, is because you have a passion and for history and you get the romanticism that goes into telling these stories. And it's always just so fun to be able to just sit around and talk history with people and learn. If they actually experience the event, understand their experience and what they remember and what they were thinking and how they remember it is also how you remember something is just as important as you actually remembering it, and that can be an important string we can pull on. Or talking with people like me and you sitting here talking about this. Neither one of us is old enough to have experienced World War II, but we've read about it. We've talked with people who did experience. So then understanding what your perspective is, and combining that with my perspective then helps us tell a larger picture and get a more holistic understanding of why people remember certain things, why certain events are remembered the way they're remembered, and it just gives us an avenue for giving a full presentation so when the public comes to see these exhibits, they're getting as broad a picture and understanding as possible.
And I'll take that for an example. It started for me with the context of writing the story that I did. I saw this honor roll of Rockingham County at some exhibit at some point in time, and it just touched me that there are people that have stories to tell. And so after seeing that, it was at the God Bless America Day at Woodbine Baptist Church they used to do, and they had something similar to this. And those stories need to be told. So these documents, they give us that key to unlock things. And for me, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I feel like maybe that's a lot of how Griggs versus Duke Power might have started too, where you have some documentation, you start understanding, and now we have the stories a little bit more from family members and stuff.
Yeah, so the Griggs case was well underway, and the understanding was well underway before I got here. But from talking with my predecessor, Matthew Titchener, and Valencia Abbott, who's been our key teacher at Rockingham County Early College, understanding that process, it really was like this was a little known fact. They discovered it, they started reading about it, like, oh, these men are all from Rockingham County. This is an important story. And that was just the first pull of the thread. And then this whole narrative just unraveled in front of them. And we've been building off that ever since that started a couple of years ago.
I'm going to sound crazy, but it's almost like a treasure, right? There's a treasure map somewhere. And the longer that it goes, the more less likely that you are to find it. If you do find it and then you don't tap into it, you're never going to find the treasure. I feel like that's a lot with history.
That's one way to look at it. And sort of in that same vein, we are, as historians, whether you're an archaeologist, you're a more traditional historian looking at primary source documents, you're a social historian, whatever your vein of history is, we are detectives working a cold case.
Right.
And the documents and the treasures are the clues that we're trying to cobble together so that we can develop this case and understand how history happened. But it's a cold case, and some of the clues are lost, some of the treasures are lost, so we got to use what we have available to build that case up to make that presentation. And sometimes the lack of information gives you some information, like if you have a good enough documentary source and you see a hole, you can kind of piece that hole back together and understand what was there. That's not always happening, and the sad thing is when you do have a good treasure that points you to an even better treasure, but that other treasure's been lost to time,
right.
and then you get a little sad and you're like, man, this would be really awesome if we had access to that. And then one day it shows up in your doorstep and you're just like, okay, this is cool. Or we're digging through the archives and we find a treasure that we didn't know we had. And then that sends you down another rabbit hole of, all right, what can we learn from this document? What's the story here?
That's why I think it's so important for more people to be involved, because every perspective leads to a different opportunity. Mm-hmm. And for those that maybe have that clue, maybe they have that, they don't want to be the detective, but they need the help of the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. What's the best way to go about doing that?
So if you have questions, right now we're in the process of getting our archives put back together, coming out of the HVAC project. Give us a call, ask for either me or Cameron Stewart. She's a new hire. She wanted to be here tonight so she could introduce herself to the public, but I was about to say, unfortunately, this isn't an unfortunate situation. She's doing an internship with Oxford University in England right now. So she
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was something she had set up before we hired her. Reach out to us. We'll take your information. Either we'll do the research or we'll find volunteers. We have certain volunteers who specialize in different topics. We have volunteers who specialize in genealogy, cemetery research. So just we can help you find the information you're looking for. If you're on the other side and you have some stuff, you have family history, you have some artifacts, and you think the museum might be interested, give us a call, ask for me, and I can walk you through the process. I'll have some questions, and how that process works broadly is we kind of do an interview, whether over email or over the phone, so I can get as much information as I can. The two questions that I always ask when doing this: what's its relationship to Rockingham County? Actually, it's three. Can I use it in an exhibit down the road? and is the information valuable to keep in our archives so that it provides context or information that a future researcher may want. And if I can answer at least one of those three questions fairly well, I'll be like, okay, I think it's worth considering. We have a collections committee, which is made up of volunteers, most of them who work in our archives with our material culture collection, so they have a true deep understanding of what's down there because they're working with it on a daily, weekly basis. We have a professional librarian. We have other professional museum people outside the MARC family. Well, they used to work here, but they don't work here now, but they're still involved. And I take it to them, but we meet about once a month. I basically present them the information that you would give me, pictures, dates, families it's related to, its relationship to the county, what my vision, if I have a vision for it, is in an exhibit, what I think its role could be in the archives. So the more information I have, the easier that pitch is to make. And then the collections committee takes a vote on all objects that are accepted into the museum, and they make the final call.
Well, before we let you go and bring you back later, what's that one maybe email conversation, one item that is there one that sticks out to you that you've had since you've been here?
We've accepted some really cool stuff since I've been here. I'm trying to think what I'll say the unfortunate thing is, and this is, since I've been here, just before they hired me, we lost Dr. Lindley Butler. Then we lost Charlie Rodenbow. And more recently, we've lost Bob Carter. We're in the process of accepting all of Bob Carter's research files, which is just an unbelievable treasure trove, to use your term, of his personal research, his sources he was pulling from. And when Charlie passed, we got all of his research as well. And I was going through some of his files, and he was the expert on Alexander Martin. I'm flipping through these files, and I find the original land plat for Benjamin Harris Martin.
Wow.
And for those of you who don't know, when Alexander Martin passed away, he freed Benjamin Harris Martin. He was an enslaved person who worked for Alexander Martin, who was enslaved by Alexander Martin. And we have the land plat where when he was given his freedom, he was also given the land. And we have that plat and the original document documenting that land transfer.
Yeah, I'm sure that was pretty shocking to see. As somebody that I know you love that type of history, especially.
Yeah, as much as I love World War II, and we're doing this right now, my true passion is that colonial early republic period. And so being able to get into those artifacts, I was just like, wow, this is what really gets me going. And it was just a great find to see.
Well, CJ, thanks for joining us again. We'll have you back with some more of those 1940s items that just tell us how America changed through the 1940s.
All right, thank you.
CJ Idle, the Executive Director here of the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. History tells a story that we might not know, a story that we do know that's not fully fledged out. And it's important for the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County to be part of our community to help us continue telling stories, to archive stories, and to be able to provide the history and information that we need to grow as people in this community. And you can help by visiting mark2024.ggo.bid. That's mark2024.ggo.bid as we bring back up our bid page. Again, if you want to donate, you can do so as well as part of our Gala fundraiser. We are up to $9,160 donated. So thank you to all the support of our community to our $20,000 goal. Take a look at some of the items. We'll talk with CJ coming up in just a bit as well. I know he's got some other cool items to take a look at. So we'll do that before we close out at 8 o'clock. Make sure you're ready for those bids. They're coming up. The time is coming up. It'll crunch real fast. We'll look, and it'll be 8 o'clock in no time. So make sure you get those bids in on some of our items as we take a closer look at some of our items, our books, our games. Let's take a look again at the heritage of Rockingham County. We're just talking about the importance of some of the documentation that has been brought in. Here's a big one in our community, the heritage of Rockingham County. A must-have for anyone interested in Rockingham County history, a seminal work on the natural and cultural history of the county, and it contains articles written by Rockingham County's leading historians, along with biographies and family histories written by descendants, and it was published by the Rockingham County Historical Society in 1983. It remains the most comprehensive publication on Rockingham County. You can bid to own a copy of this at $200 and beat Marguerite. All you have to do is click that bid button right there at mark2024.ggo.bid as we put back on the screen how you can get involved and bid on our auction items. If you don't like Elizabeth's Pizza, I don't know if we can be friends. $15 gift certificate up for bid, currently at $20. You can buy it now for $25 or bid at $25. Close it up. Click that buy now button right now. Oh, dang. It's up. It's at $25. Tiffany Jones with that top bid. You got to bid $30 now to grab Elizabeth's Pizza. $15 gift card if you want to grab pizza. But I'm a fettuccine fan. When I got chicken parmesan, you got all the options at Elizabeth's Pizza. Oh, and the steak and cheese. If I don't mention the steak and cheese, you might as well kick me out of Rockingham County. And a secret gem, I'll tell you right now, the secret gem, thanks to Mabel Scott, the former public information officer, the steak salad. Steak salad. Grab it at Elizabeth's Pizza next time you're there. Use this gift card and bid at $30 and help out the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County by bidding mark2024.ggo.bid. We have the scavenger hunts from Let's Roam. We have the River Run Festival VIP package. So the 27th River Run International Film Festival will take place April 10th through the 19th in 2025 with screenings at venues in Winston-Salem and in Greensboro at Red Cinemas. The auction package contains a ticket sampler redeemable for film tickets along with badges that provide entry to our VIP receptions and closing night party with filmmakers and VIP guests. River Run International Film Festival showcases films from independent, international, and student filmmakers, and the 10-day festival is one of the largest cultural events in the Piedmont Triad and North Carolina, presenting 175 plus films to over 10,000 attendees annually. Due to River Run's excellence in programming, they are recognized by the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences as an Academy Award qualifying festival in 2 film categories, animated shorts and documentary shorts. So make sure you get your bid in. Current bid is at $140. You can bid $155 today. Be the top bidder currently with 24 minutes remaining. It's easy. Mark 2024.ggo.bid. That's Mark 2024.ggo.bid as you see it scroll at the bottom of your screen. That's a cool one. That's a unique one, an item you're not going to find in every auction. That's for sure. How about our friends at Shea Lindsay? We've got a great item from them. A supper club for 2. Attend an evening of adventurous food, fun, friends, and signature cocktail. Shea Lindsay's Supper Club. You can bid now. Top bid is $75. And the next bid is $80 with 24 minutes remaining. We've got a long bidding history. Everybody wants to go to Shea. Items include ticket for 2 to 1 supper club. And food themes to pick from include Japanese, elevated kid food. That sounds like Joe food, elevated kid food. That's about as high as you're getting with me. Indigenous, Renaissance, and more. The tickets include 1 free cocktail, glass of wine, or beer. The Shea Lindsay Supper Club for 2. Top bidder is at $75. You could be the top bidder with a bid of $80 here at the 10th Gala Fundraiser for the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. Glad to have you along. Let's take a look at some of those items that we looked at the start of this broadcast. We start with Screen Print Plus. Need to advertise your small business or want to match a look for your friends and family? This is the package for you. In Screen Print Plus in Reedsville, they'll embroider a dozen hats and whatever logo you'd like on a hat. As you see, they do the Lake Reedsville hats, the Lake Life hats. I have one at home. It's great quality. I wear it all the time. It is a little grungy because I do fish with it too, but you can grab one of this great embroidery of 12 hats from a great company in our community, Screen Print Plus. The top bid currently is $250. You can grab it for $330 by visiting mark2024.ggo.bid. That's mark2024.ggo.bid. We've got those sports prints that you're going to check out. NC State Wolfpack. Current top bid is $50. The top bid for the Dean Smith, the winning. Okay. Everybody talks about Dean Smith around here as in the winning tradition. He is the legend, right? We got to get this up higher than $20. We got to get a bid at $25. My friends that are UNC fans, David, Jim, where you at? You need to bid on this. It's currently at $20. You can get the bid at $25 with the great print that features Dean Smith along with Bill Guthridge, Michael Jordan hitting the winning basket in 82, George Lynch hitting the go-ahead basket in 93 against that team up north, Michigan. This is losing to NC State. Are my UNC fans going to allow this to happen? I don't think we can allow this to happen. We need to get that bid up. Bid $25 now to take it home at the end of this auction if you can hold on with 20 minutes remaining at mark2024.ggo.bid. Want to check out some of our sporting events and some of the other events going on as well. Get you an update on those. Our Grasshopper tickets. Currently, our top bid is at $50. We want to get that up to $55. Okay, I'm sorry, I lied. We're going to have to get that up. Top bid is Joe Dexter at $55. You can bid $60 to bring 4 tickets to any Grasshoppers home game at First National Bank Field in the 2025 season. The Grasshoppers playoff winning, not playoff winning, but in the playoffs this year after a great first half. They're going to have a great year next year as well, and it's always a great atmosphere down there in Greensboro at First National Bank Field. So make sure you get your bids in for that. Current top bid is $55. You can do so at mark2024.ggo.bid. All right, I bid on this one too. I'm still the top bidder. Somebody outbid me if you want to go see Clemson and Wake Forest. Current bid is at $235 for 2 tickets to Wake Forest and Clemson. It's shaping to be an exciting contest you won't want to miss out. It's in October, partway through the season. 2 game tickets on the west side of Truist Field in Winston-Salem, plus a parking pass. Make it a day and tailgate before the. You know I'm doing that if I win these, and you are too. That's the college football experience. And if you haven't been to Truist, or if you haven't been down there to Truist Field, it is an unbelievable atmosphere. I love the way that it's bowled out. So when you sit and you watch the game, you feel like you're on top of the action. It's a classic feel in watching Wake Forest, and they're taking on a good opponent, ACC opponent in Clemson in October. 2 game tickets on the west side of Truist Field, plus a parking pass. If you don't want to bid, that's fine because I'm the top bidder, and I'll get the experience. But raise it up, $255 by clicking the bid button at mark2024.ggo.bid. About 20 minutes remaining here for bidding in this year's auction. And man, we're thankful for your support in supporting the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. Something that we need in this community, something that is a staple, just like Big Apple Farm Supply in Reedsville. And they have a $50 gift certificate available for you, donated thanks to them, and it's currently at $45. We need to at least get that to $50. Click the bid button at $50 right here. For over 65 years, Big Apple Farm Supply has been the trusted destination in Rockingham County, offering a vast selection of hardware, plumbing, electrical supplies, power tools, paints, rugged apparel like Carhartt, and comprehensive landscaping supplies. This $50 gift card can help you with any home or farm improvements you need to make. If you're a fan of fishing, they got some fishing gear in there, I know, that I've bought before. So make sure you head on in to Big Apple Farm Supply with this $50 gift card. Click the bid button right there and be the top bid. Fight with Julie for this. Do it. Bid. Hit that bid button at mark2024.ggo.bid. Let's touch back with this. We're waiting. We know that somebody wants to bring home this antique mid-19th century Empire walnut and white marble drop front center dresser and mirror. Starting bid is $250. You can be the starting bidder with 17 minutes remaining. That's 17 minutes remaining. It's a piece commissioned for the Virginia-based Ames family in the mid-19th century, possibly as early as the 1840s. And the family has cared for it for over 4 generations. So you know what you get. I said this last year. We had similar furniture. This ain't IKEA furniture, okay? It's not. Plus, it is taken care of by the same family for over 4 generations. So you know what you're getting is quality with this warm walnut wood and a neoclassical Empire-style drop-front center dresser and mirror. Commands any space it is situated in. Man, this will become the centerpiece of wherever you put it. No doubt about it. Add it to your collection today. By bidding $250 as a starting bid, you'll get started. And thanks to the William Bethel chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution for that donation. You can bid $250 today to be the top bidder currently at mark2024.ggo.bid. That's mark2024.ggo.bid. And if you have any questions on how to get there, feel free to let us know in the comments as well. But we got the final 15 minutes coming up here shortly. How about this? This is a print we didn't talk about earlier. And this is a Birds of Chinquapin Trail print, 14 by 20. 2 lovely birds from the Chinquapin Trail. Look at that. Wow. Top bidder is at $95. You can bid $105 to take these 2 prints back. Take these 2 prints home. One is an Orchard Oriole, and the other one is a Blue Grosbeak. So the MARC will place the winning bidder in contact with the owner of these prints. And make sure you grab the Birds of Chinquapin Trail. You can bid now at $105 to be the top bidder on our auction. So we do have some top bids in for the Cayman Islands vacation. The top bid is currently at $1,000. We haven't seen that raised yet. We've got 15 minutes for that. Mila's sitting good with it right now. Is that what we want? I'm not sure. I think we want a war for this one, a luxury Cayman Islands vacation, 1 week. All the details, man. It's a family escape for you. Luxurious Moritz Resort in the Cayman Islands for a week of paradise, located on the secluded east end part of the island. You could be staying in the most luxurious, complex, spacious 2-bedroom deluxe suite. And the room features have 2 separate bedrooms, a master suite, including shower and large closet, a Caribbean-inspired modern decor with oceanfront views as well, an open living area, a deluxe jacuzzi, air conditioning, flat-screen TV with satellite channels. Is there anything else you need? A washer and dryer unit. You don't have to worry about that as well. So make sure you get in on this bid. It's currently at $1,000. You can bid at $1,125 at mark2024.ggo.bid. That's mark2024.ggo.bid. Well, welcome back in Executive Director C.J. Idle here in just a bit. But first, let's take a look at some of these other items. We'll take a look at the guided hike of Kibler Valley. I mean, this is a great joint. Anna Wheeler on a hike to the Great Falls of the Dan in Kibler Valley. Currently bid at $60. The historic Dan River has many trails nearby, none so special and unique as the hike to the Great Falls and Little Falls of the Dan in Kibler Valley. So make sure you bid on that. Current bid, top bid is at $60. You can bid $70 to grab that experience at mark2024.ggo.bid. As we welcome in Executive Director C.J. Idle. C.J., man, I see 2 great documents there, and we'll get to that in just a second. But which of these stays would you want to do the most?
I am a sucker for the beach. My first archaeological dig that I went on to kind of start me down this path was in the Caribbean, so I love the beach and I love the Caribbean. But knowing my wife and what she would prefer and keeping her happy since our anniversary is coming up soon, she loves the mountains. She's a Western Carolina girl.
Alrighty.
So we would probably want to go do the hike with Anna because hanging out with Anna is always a good time too, and you get to do the mountains. So
I agree. I'm that way too. That's how I feel too.
And I didn't include this because I haven't asked Anna if this was going to be part of it. But the best part of hanging out with Anna is getting to hang out with the dog, with her and her boyfriend's dog Aries. he's probably the funnest and one of the coolest dogs you could meet.
Yeah, Aries needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, CJ, let's see what you got as we look at the 1940s and how it changed America and how Rockingham County was changed as well.
Yeah, so last time I was on here, I had the book showing the people who went and fought in the war and kind of talked a little bit about how we can learn about the war front. But now I want to kind of show you the other side of that and what's happening on the home front. And right here, we've got 2 ration books. Both of them were sold in 1944. You can see that date right there, ration book number 3. And then ration book 4, same date, looks like they were purchased at the same time by the same individual in what was then Spray, this part of modern day Eden, as everybody knows. And this is kind of an odd thing for us to experience today, because nowadays you go to the grocery store, you go to the convenience store, gas station, just buy whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Everything's available. But during the war effort, all the goods at home had to be rationed. So if you didn't have these ration books, or if you didn't have, this one's been used, so you can see some of the ration stamps have already been removed. If you didn't have this, you couldn't purchase things. You basically purchased this book and then traded this in for goods. And it was kind of a big deal. If you look on the instructions on the back, not only are they giving you instructions about don't sell this, make sure you use this, fuller instructions will come, but they're still telling you if you don't need it, don't buy it. When you do purchase tin cans and what's that say? Waste fats, save those and donate them to the war effort. So everything is going towards this war effort. Everybody's making sacrifices, whether you're at home, you're physically in battle, you're running supply lines across if we're in Europe, supply lines out of England and France into Germany, into Italy. You're running supply lines in the Americas to get goods to the coast, so then they could be shipped off to Europe or Pacific. Everybody's making sacrifices, and goods just aren't as available. Things like copper, Reedsville, the Lucky City. Lucky Strike cigarettes, they originally had that beautiful green box. Having the story I've read, and I need to confirm this more, is that they changed away from that green box to a white box because copper was such a valuable war commodity they couldn't make that green color anymore. So that's why you see those white boxes start showing up. It's an interesting story if it's true, and it would be, that's something that directly impacts. And you can see how goods are in such short supply. Lucky Strike cigarettes were also the #1 ration. That was everybody's favorite cigarette in 1930s, 1940s America. And that was from all the oral histories and sort of the stories that get traded. That was the last cigarette you'd smoke in your ration pack, because that was everybody's favorite cigarette. So it's just Rockingham County is having an impact beyond just the people that it's sending to war and how it's making sacrifices. It's also making lives just a little bit better for the soldiers on the front line by giving them their cigarettes.
Right. It might sound a little strange now that what we know, but that little thing in those times brought so much joy in a time where maybe joy wasn't always found. And first thing that comes to mind after seeing these is, I'm not going to complain anymore about whether I got to go through the self-checkout or find a regular checkout. I mean, that's real things right there. This is real life, not worrying about whether I have to bag my own groceries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, is there going to be sugar in the department in the store when I go to buy it, and do I have the right ration on hand to be able to purchase that?
And I think it helped maybe change America too. I don't know this I'm no historian. I just talk on the microphone. But I feel like maybe things like this and the aspects of the Depression to getting a little bit out of the 1940s, but it brought that essence of, you're my neighbor, I can help you. If you need this, I've got this. If you and I think it might have helped flourish that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you see stuff like that in before the war. Smaller communities, you just have a tighter knit, tend to be more related, closer family relationships. Coming out of the Depression, everybody had been traveling all the time, because if you were working, you were probably working for the Civilian Conservation Corps, Works Progress Administration, pick your alphabet soup letters and to get your federal organization that's providing jobs during the Depression, and then the war effort really ramps up and puts everybody back to work. The entire economy is being put to a war effort, so everybody's working toward the same cause, which is something fairly unique to the wartime economy. Yeah, and then neighbors, people coming home, we were celebrating for that 10-year period. Europe, which was the other major economic center for the Western world, it's got to rebuild. It has nothing. The Germans, the Italians, they did a good job of destroying all the infrastructure in Europe. So the only place in the West that's really producing goods is the U.S., and that's where we see that economic boom in the late 40s, early 50s. So you got everybody still having that war mentality of let's work together, let's push for it, and then we're the only place that has the infrastructure to make the goods that go out into the world.
Well, over the last year, I probably lost my debit card 2 times. If I lost that, I was in trouble.
Yeah, actually, what was it? I was reading somewhere on here. Was it the inside? There's like a $10,000 fine.
Ooh.
Yeah. Person who violates ration regulations are subject to a $10,000 fine or imprisonment or both. Any person who finds a lost war ration book must return it to the War Price and Rationing Board. So if you lose this, it's going back to the board, and then they're probably going to be like,
And it's probably a process to get
Yeah.
it back. Oh, yeah.
and then you probably got to explain why you've lost it in the first place, because these things would not have been easy to get. So, yeah, I just want to give you guys a little snapshot into some of the artifacts from the home front and what we can tell about life on the home front while everybody's at war.
As far as the 1940s and the war, how much items has the MARC seen, and how much do you guys preserve?
Oh, the short answer is we don't know, because we have a lot, especially our archive in particular. When I talk about archive, I'm talking about stuff like this, the papers, the records from the period. It's going to be a ongoing, long-term, like years, maybe even decades before we can get our head fully wrapped around what all we have down in there. The material cultures, the stuff you typically see, like clothing, technology, stuff like that. We have a fair representation of U.S. Army uniforms. I wouldn't say we have much outside any of the services outside the U.S. Army, like no Air Force, no Navy. We might have a Navy uniform now that I think about it. We've got ration books. We've got newspapers from the time period. We've got a couple other honor rolls. We've got this really cool quilt, and it's too big for us to put on display here. Basically, this women's club in Leakesville were putting together this quilt, and they sold what amounts to naming rights in today's terms. And you could either get your own name stitched on the quilt, or you could get the name of somebody in honor of. So, like if your son, husband, grandson, cousin was all fighting in Europe, you could get their name stitched on the quilt, and you would pay the women's club for those naming rights, and then that money was pulled together and sent off to buy supplies for the troops overseas.
Wow. Well, before we let you go, we're coming here close to the end of this broadcast. What are some of your thoughts for those out there bidding, and some of the support that you've gotten from the community and businesses?
Yeah, so just thank you all for your support throughout the year and continuing onward. We look forward to being able to open up here in the near future, get the whole building operational, really make it what it should be to represent the county, the important history that happened here beyond everything we've talked about. I could sit here for 24 hours straight with Joe and put Joe to sleep and tell you guys about the history of Rockingham County. There's just so many cool stories. It's been great building partnerships with Joe, with Roy behind the scenes, This week I've been doing some work with Dan River Basin Association and Anna Wheeler, Visit Roco and Lindsay Pegg doing stuff to celebrate the Dan. All the businesses who either made monetary sponsorship donations or gave us donated goods for us to auction off. It's just so appreciated, and I couldn't do what I'm doing without your support. We're lucky to have a staff of now 3 people, myself, Tiffany Jones as our Director of Development, Cameron Stewart as Operations Programs Manager. Without all the support, we would not be here, and we couldn't do the job because as much as I love telling stories and talking history, if I don't have an audience to tell it to, it doesn't have the same impact. And just, we really appreciate everything everybody's done, the businesses, the individuals. Just, it's been so wonderful and tremendous to see how much the community appreciates its own history and helps us to do the work we do.
So as a subscriber, I know there is a mailing list and there's other ways. Just briefly explain for folks that are trying to keep up to date on when things will happen, when the opening, what you guys are doing. What's the best way to do that?
So we have a newsletter. You can sign up through our website, themarkonline.org. You can find how to sign up for that. You can also register to be a sustainer, which will set it up to charge you monthly for donations. You can give one-time gifts that way beyond what you do for the gala. Follow us on Facebook. We're working on getting our Instagram off the ground. Those are the newsletter, Facebook, Instagram main ways. Once we get through with this HVAC project, we've got a couple other interior and one major exterior project we got to do, so it's kind of hard for us to nail down a date when we'll be open. I think once we get the HVAC done, you might start seeing us do some programs in this space, especially in this 1970s courtroom, because this 1970s building is fairly cool, and we don't anticipate the issues that we're going to have with the older part of the building. So just keep an eye out. Maybe sometime early fall, mid-fall, we'll start doing programs, and we're always going to be doing stuff at Wright Tavern because that building is air-conditioned, it's secure, it's got everything we need to be able to program and invite people in and share history with them.
All right, CJ, thanks for joining us, and thanks for having us here for the 10th Annual Summer Gala and Fundraiser with the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's always a pleasure to see you.
All right, folks, we've got 1 minute, so that means you're about there to wrap up your bids. So make sure you head on over to mark2024.ggo.bid, as you see on the screen, mark2024.ggo.bid. I might go see if I'm going to – I got to get on some of these last-second ones. Hopefully I can get to them in time. Let's see. We got the Greensboro Grasshoppers. I hope nobody snipes that one on me. And I'm currently leading that one. You can get that snipe bid in for $60 right now at mark2024.ggo.bid. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us here at the 10th Annual Gala and Fundraiser, our summer soiree, as our bidding has come to a close. Thank you so much for joining us this year, and thanks for your support of the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. There's a reason that folks make sure that we preserve this history. It's more than just what the documents say. It's making sure that those documents exist for the future. We can't build our future without knowing the history of our past. We cannot build forward as people without knowing those behind us that set guidelines, those that trailblazed before us. So it's very important for our community to keep supporting the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County. And that's what you've done this year, as you do every year. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for joining us here at our 10th Annual Gala. We'll see you next year, and stay safe out there. Of course, you can keep up with the Museum and Archives of Rockingham County as well, and we'll show you how to do that right now as we close our gala for 2024. Take care, everybody.
Then again, shoes are very harmful to a polished floor.